Don't think you know. Just tell them, I don't know. Come out here, look at the property, and you tell me how it is. This is your field. That's all I say. I appreciate you because this is why she's doing a phenomenal job just spreading the gospel as I say it. People, 99% of people don't know what a public adjuster is and how they're advocate towards the owners of any loss of their property. There needs to be people out there to share this because, and again, this is nothing against insurance companies. It's what the people need to know their rights are, how they need to, position themselves to be made whole. Nothing against insurance companies. Insurance companies I'm a capitalist. Everybody needs to make money. I completely understand, but let's do it the right way with certain things. I like this poster though.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny.
This is such a cool poster.
Yes.
I love that. I love that poster.
What, you're gonna steal it like the DeSophis? The Dos Equis guy?
He's got a cool little design in his office.
Good?
Ready to roll.
All right.
So is this streamlined, right?
Streamlined? Meaning?
It's not live, obviously.
No, you're not live. You're good.
Okay.
You can curse, you can say anything you want, and then we'll edit it out.
Perfect. You do this, once a month, twice a month?
No. Like 6 or 8 times a month.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so since my brother, you know my brother, right?
I didn't meet him, but I saw him on one of your podcasts. He does the credit repair, right?
Yeah, so he does his podcast, and sometimes I sit in those as well. So, it's just more streamlined now than it was in the past. In the past, it was kind of just working off of whatever everybody else's schedule was. Like, I'll let you guys in, no big deal. And it would really mess me up.
Now it's on your schedule.
Yeah, it's like, it's on my schedule. Like, we've been doing it for a while, so it's just finding ways to streamline the process.
Yeah.
Because then it's too much.
Right.
It's too much. It's a creative outlet. That's all it is, for us. Give people a voice, a platform. But otherwise it becomes work. Yeah. And then it's like, no, thank you.
It's not fun, right?
Yeah. So every 30 minutes, you guys will just kind of like hear me click so I can kind of keep recording. Nothing is off topic. So talk about whatever you want, highlight whatever you guys want. But thank you both. Thank you both for coming in.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for learning about our industry.
You guys, you told me about it, right? It's like private. It's not a private adjuster?
Yeah, public adjuster.
Public adjuster.
Yeah. So, and we'll say this multiple times, but so if a property owner has a claim, a flood, a fire, some sort of damage, we advocate for the property owner, not the insurance company, to make sure they get the full payout from their claims. Because insurance companies right now are wanting to deny claims or not pay enough, and people can't repair their homes.
So I just found out what a public adjuster, right? I just found out what it was. I had someone on a couple months ago, and I mean, we're just having a nightmare in the mortgage industry right now with people trying to get insured.
Right.
It's like companies leaving the state, people having to get the California Fair Plan, wraparound policies. Policies are triple, quadruple the prices. And so you guys are at the tail end when someone actually, you can wait. You guys are at the tail end when someone has an issue within their home, and you guys help advocate on their behalf.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
But it's not the tail end. What preferably we like to do is get them in the front end before they do even make the statement to the insurance company, because the statement's always recorded. So insurance companies are very creative of how to ask your questions and how to do things. And People are not experienced, and what they say and what they think they're saying sometimes can be used against them and could hurt them.
You mean like a cop?
Good cop, bad cop, Columbo deal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all the time, but quite a lot it happens.
It's kind of like going to court or talking to a lawyer, and a lawyer tells you, like, don't talk to anyone, right? Don't say anything, or anything you say can and will be held against you.
Well, it's not even just to say not to talk to. Truthfully, insurance company, what did they intervene you how the accident happened? The real respective of the insurance company should send an adjuster and look at the claim. What do you question the client? Well, is it long? The key is they want to kind of get you into a place to say it's a long-term, short-term, because there is clause in the coverage of the policy that they could say, nope, you testified that way.
I think it's something after I've had a couple of insurance people on. Obviously, I deal with insurance every single day. People that are buying houses, refinancing. And Anika, you know Anika.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of her clips went viral because she was saying, do not file a claim if it's less than $5,000. Do not even call your insurance company. You know, because even if you inquire, they're going to put you on a list, or they're going to know that next year you're going to have a claim and they're going to double or triple your premium, right? And so people are pissed off in the comments. But when I talk to every agent, she's telling the truth, right? That's what's really happening in the insurance industry. And so you said catch them before, right? So have the client connect with you guys before. Do you mean when they're getting the insurance, or before they file a claim?
Before they file the claim.
Okay.
Before they file the claim is the smartest thing, the wisest thing to get in front of somebody that knows the experience of it, to what we have to say, listen, let's look at this and let's see how this is going to be for you. Sometimes I tell my clients, don't file. Right now, don't file. If it's something that it can be mitigated, taken care of, you're not going to spend the bank. As you said it, for you to close your escrow right now, it's a hell of a time for you guys to get a binder in place. And fair plan, if you have to go down that road, good luck to you to closing that binder quick.
So fair plan requires that we send them a picture within 3 days, in front of the property with the address. I think it's 3 days. They take upwards of 21 days to respond with a policy. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And sometimes we'll get evidence of insurance from an insurance provider, but then later down the week, that insurance provider is no longer in California. Literally.
Oh my
it's like
God.
we're just not insured in California anymore.
Right.
And then they have to broker it out, and then they'll say, hey, we have another policy. And then now they need to submit an application, which still doesn't guarantee it. Mm-hmm. We've always, in our line of business, said that there are expected things that you can expect on every escrow. So we try to prepare for it. We never wait to the 11th hour to order insurance. That's what most lenders do. We order it as soon as escrow opens. But even when we order it as soon as escrow opens, we're still having all these problems. Right. It's just really difficult. And the thing is that the consumer just doesn't understand. I'm a consumer at the end of the day, and I call my insurance guy. I was like, why did my insurance go up? Like, my insurance on my vehicles has gone up. My insurance on my house has gone up. I have no claims. I have no accidents. I have no nothing. He's like, well, there's so many that are leaving California. The ones that they are insuring, they're just jacking up prices.
Yeah. You're not the only one. It's happening to everybody.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any better.
Don't make a claim.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did have to file a claim about 10 years ago. A tree fell on my car. Act of God is what they call it. All right. I'm like, so, I mean, everything got replaced, so I was good there. But how did you get in the industry? How did each one of you guys get in this industry?
How I got into the industry. I've been a general contractor for over 15 years, 20 years. I've been in the general contractor industry, and we were doing it with the restoration industry. So what that means is we used to do a lot of things with the insurance companies and little and go and this and that. What happened to be is I finally saw the little light of what's happening in that industry and how it's going. And truthfully, how people were getting service and how certain things were happening. I had handcuffs, and at one point I said, I'm going to go get my license for a public adjuster. And I did it, and we got into the public adjusting industry, and we're able to now help people, make people whole, make them, go back in their home. That's their kingdom. And I don't want to sound negative about this statement. Insurance companies are great. I'm glad we're around. Right now, what California put these insurance companies through, it's our Congress or, our political side of it. But the insurance companies are needed in everybody. And I tell all my clients, we're going to get you what you deserve up to 1 penny, not 1 penny more. Insurance companies are here to help you, also to make money for themselves, because this is what capitalism is about in our country. But something over 1 penny that they deserve for a client, I won't have it.
So you said something about Congress. So did Congress or did the state change something that prompted insurance companies to leave the state?
Mr. Newsom and, the DOI, the Department of Insurance, had put them a halt to raising their rates the last couple of years. And lately, they haven't been able to raise them due to affordability and this and that. And finally, some of these insurance companies, their loss ratio is so high up, they had to leave the state. Finally, they agreed on it the last several months, and don't quote me on all this, the particular dates. Finally, State Farm was able to raise their property, I believe, 30%, and their auto is 22%. And other companies are going to be following along to stay, because the insurance companies have a loss ratio every year that they compare, and that's open book. And those loss ratio, there's some companies like Safeco, I think, is leaving completely California.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You're in insurance, right? Obviously, you're protecting people, but if so many people are filing that many losses and you can't raise your rates and everything has gone up in cost, including cost of goods, cost of labor, inflation, and you're having to do all these payouts, how can insurance companies stay in place? They have to raise their rates. I don't agree with it and I don't want to pay it, but how could you be in business and not be able to raise your rates?
Great question. Mm-hmm. That's why I think we're in this, and the sad part is we're the 5th largest economy in the world. Mm-hmm. And it has to be made sense of how these insurance companies are able to handle their loss ratio. I think there's a loss ratio of 180% of one of the companies. I don't want to mention any names because I don't want to give statistics that are inappropriate or not correct to any companies or speak behalf of them. It's just crazy ratios. You're not going to survive. No,
you can't.
No investment company is going to stay in that place. And for these Californians to think, sure, let's just write checks. It's not happening for these companies. And ultimately, the average Joe and Schmo down there is going to suffer for their rates. An average insurance policy for myself, my house used to be $1,000 a month. Now I'm about $3,000 a month.
Where do you live?
A month?
I'm sorry, a year.
I was like, where do you live?
Yeah.
No. I thank you for catching that. Annually, I'm sorry, $3,000 a year. Mm-hmm. It's and our auto policy is through the roof, $10,000 a year. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's ridiculous what's going on, you guys.
And it's tough too, because since they were halted on raising rates all at one time, they're having this increase. So it's scary and it seems ridiculous, how they've been able to gradually do it. we still wouldn't be happy about it, but at least it would have been less of a hit.
So you talked about capitalism earlier, and I obviously I believe in that, right? Capitalistic society, that's where we're at. And so one of the things that happened in our industry, the mortgage industry, we're affected obviously on the insurance side, but the raising of rates in the Federal Reserve, the highest that they did in the shortest amount of time, it's like you couldn't keep rates there forever. You couldn't keep them at 0%. You shouldn't have kept them at 0%. You should have been increasing rates gradually over time. And that's not what they did. Mm-hmm. They just hiked them way up. It's like a total debacle. And I think I'm like, how do these guys that are economists, right, or people that are smart, how do you guys not know that this was not going to happen, right? That you needed to have been doing this preemptively. Same thing, proactively, I'm sorry. But same thing with, let's say, the state saying, hey, don't raise rates. Well, the cost of goods is still going up. Why weren't they allowed to do it maybe at a smaller pace, right, but still allow them to do it? And that's what the free market does. Like, the free market has to be able to make adjustments to stay in business. And then otherwise, these insurance companies just leave the state. And what ends up happening is that now you have these wraparound policies which are more expensive. I don't get it.
Oh, that's a loaded question. I mean, that's so deep.
The thing is, you agree with me.
1000%. But we already know that answer.
And sometimes it's like,
the truth is, how many people were in their pockets for these decisions not to be made quick?
Yes, I don't know. I just try not to think about it, because then it pisses me off.
You know what I always say is, the smartest people, supposedly, in the world are in the right powerful places. Princeton graduates, Harvard graduates, Stanford graduates, attorneys, executives, consultants. How did they not see all this? How did they not? And you're asking the most perfect question right now. What happened with 07? You don't think that was coming? 04? Looking at that? 05?
Have you seen The Big Short?
Oh, of course. You don't think all that was? And how many articles were ignored or just thrown under the bridge saying, no, this is bullshit?
There's this timer that we used to watch. I used to watch. It's called Implodometer. And it was basically a list of banks that we were watching to implode. And it's like who's going out of business? Who's going out of business?
That was the smartest man in that movie. I wish I followed him and I listened to him.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? And I used to always tell my wife at those years, because we sat at our home in a refi. I was like, honey, we're not buying into this. Because my old saying is, whatever goes up, it's got to come down. And it was like, and I was at a supermarket, and a cashier lady was going, yeah, I just bought my home. I said, well, congratulations. I go, where'd you get it? She knows. I said, oh my God, you must have got a great deal. She goes, I only paid $600,000, but I didn't have to pay any money down. I looked at my wife in the car. I said, babe, and I was so stupid not to act on getting more educated with the Big Short guys to go that side. I said, honey, this is going to go nuts.
I think at the end of the day, it's there was these crazy loans, right? Obviously during that time.
Yeah. Were you doing loans at that time? Or?
Yeah, I've been doing loans for 22 years. Okay. So I'm old. But
so you made a lot of money those years.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is what I was going to say. I didn't. Because I wouldn't. I did loans that made sense, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And I'm to this day, and it's something that I think it speaks to the way my parents raised us and just my core values. I'm not going to do something for money that's incorrect, illegal, put a family in a predicament, ugly position. It's not worth it. I need to be able to sleep. I need to be able to do the right thing. And my mom would always say, and it's just a simple saying, she goes, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and I'm going to call you out on your bullshit if you're my son. Like, don't take advantage of people. Do what's right by people. And so I remember people doing Nega loans, right, where basically your payment doesn't even cover the mortgage, and every single month your balance is going up.
Right.
And as a lender, you can make $20,000, $40,000 per loan. I would not originate one. I would not do one. I would say I'm not doing these type of loans. I had one client ask me for it, and I remember talking to my parents, telling them, and they're like, I mean, they're asking for it. Remember talking to my branch manager. He's like, go ahead and do it, obviously. I'm like, I don't feel good about it. I did one loan, one Nega loan. But it's I don't know. I feel good about myself that I didn't take advantage of anybody during those times, that people still call me from those times and still want me to help them.
Good.
So,
do you know what ended up happening with that one specific loan?
Yeah, they kept their house.
Okay,
yeah, they kept their house. And what I did was the transparency portion of every loan. Every loan has strings attached, and you need to understand clearly how this works. Amortization schedules, showing them how the loan works. It would always bother me to see loan officers jump into this industry just to make money. Yes, we make money. Yes, we make a lot of money. But people who didn't look at this industry as a profession, it's like, this is a professional job. You make more than doctors and lawyers. You know, these people went to school for 10, 12 years, 16 years, whatever it is. And they wouldn't educate themselves. They wouldn't know about the bond market. They wouldn't know about the Big Short. They wouldn't know securitization. They didn't know anything. They were just selling. You know, they were working at Ross one day, and then now they're a banker. No, you're not. You don't know what you're doing. You know, and so from the moment I started in this industry, it was to start off as a career. To really learn about finances, to learn about what you guys do. So that's what you guys are going to teach me today. How did you get into it?
So I've worked with John for 10 years on the construction side. And same thing, like he said, you know, we deal with renovating properties that have had a loss. And I myself, I didn't know what a public adjuster was. Like, I knew that we worked with them, but I didn't even realize what it was until, you know, he decided to get his license and told me, and I was like, oh my God, like, you know, this is awesome. We can help people, you know, and I was like, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think it's, I get to help people. I get paid.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's compensation behind it.
Right.
And then you guys get paid after the fact.
Correct.
Right. Is that correct?
We don't take any money up front. When the case settles, that's when we get compensated. Yes, that is correct. We work along with the client from the A to Z to make sure their policy is where it needs to be, how they need to be compensated, and what needs to be taken care of from their contents. When I say contents, a lot of people sometimes it's all their belongings, furniture, whatever we need to do, we take care of it, and we consult with them and guide them along the way through the whole process.
So at which point does someone reach out to you guys? Like, when should someone call you?
When they have, you know, a water damage, or they had a fire, or theft, or, you know, whatever the insurance claim may be. Like John said, if they can call us before they actually call the insurance company to submit the claim, so we can help them through that process, and we'll help them through the whole thing from A to Z. So, I mean, if your house just had a fire and you lost everything, are you even going to want to be dealing with the insurance company? You know, you've got someone on your side that just can take over and, you know, take care of that for you.
And what type of, excuse me, because, like, let's say my water heater is all messed up, stop working. Most people, like, call the insurance company. Do I call you guys for a water heater issue?
Well, you don't call us for a toilet overflow. If it's something minor, I would not take the case on, because, first of all, it's not fair to the client, because there's a certain percentage we have to inquire into the fee to make it worth, because we have an overhead and staff and everything else. If it's something substantial, yes, we need to get involved. But for example, if a water heater, one little room with some stuff, I would even recommend for you not to make a claim if there's no damage. You could clean it up, fix a couple of things, maybe change a little bit of drywall. Sure. I'm not a component of, yes, go, go, go. That's not the way we work.
Is it, Anika used that $5,000 estimate. She says if it's less than $5,000, do not even call.
I would even say $10,000.
Okay.
I would even say $15,000. Depends on what neck of the woods you're at. If you're in a fire brush and you've got ABC company right now that's holding on to that policy, and you make a $20,000 claim and you lose it, and you go to Fair Plan or you go to somebody else that's going to charge you literally $4,000 or $5,000 a month, do the math.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous, slippery slope right now that a lot of people need to take in consideration, because insurance companies are in a bad place themselves with what California has done.
Now, once someone calls you guys take over the case, advocate on their behalf, fight with the insurance companies, right? Or negotiate.
Negotiate. Fighting, we don't get our backs dirty fast on the streets.
We do. We're Rocky.
By the way, I'm taking this home with me.
You like it?
Oh, I love it.
That's so cool.
That is cool. That is awesome. I grew up in this stuff.
My production partner, he brought it for me.
Can I get one, please? Have him order one.
I'm gonna ask him.
Please.
He went on vacation. He's like, "Hey, look what I brought you."
I swear to God, I want one. I'm gonna put it in my bar in my house.
I love it.
You're gonna sign it for me.
So yeah, exactly. It's I have a full Rocky leg sleeve, so I'm definitely a big Rocky fan.
Oh, how
do you have a picture of it? Like, I got to see this now.
I could show you.
Really? Now you're asking to show this? Really?
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but that's just one of it. But this whole leg here is Rocky.
Okay.
Tiger up here. Here's when he's a collector. Down here is him and Adrian. Here's in the back, he's at the steps. On the side is when he's winning and he's getting carried.
Fuck,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Jeez, good for you.
So Rocky means a lot to me. Well, Sylvester Stallone, right? But obviously
you watch his reality show too?
No, I mean it's just more of his daughter.
No, it's actually pretty cool. Oh yeah, my wife and I got into the first 3-4 episodes. It's really cool. His daughters are beautiful. They just sold California. They're out of California. They're in Florida now. It's kind of a cool reality.
It's I saw the movie. I've seen like a couple snippets of the show.
I'm telling you, you're gonna like it. He's good.
He's good. I just don't want to. I don't care about his daughter.
How do you like Tesla? Tesla. What is that one? His show.
Tulsa.
Yeah, that's a good show.
I watched the first episode. The rest. Hold on, let me finish. What? It wasn't out yet.
We're done.
It wasn't out yet, so I have to wait for a show to be done.
Oh,
what do you mean it's done already? 2 years ago.
Now it is.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that.
But the first time I watched it, it was where I had to catch up every week to week.
So you're not. So you still haven't caught up.
I haven't caught up. So I'm like, I watched the first one. I was like, oh, I'll watch it. For the next episode. I didn't watch it.
I'm gonna let you guys slide because that thing's been out for over a year and a half. So I'm gonna let you.
So I watched behind the scenes stuff, and I'm like, dude, I want that outfit. I'm like,
dude, it's a great show. I'm telling you guys will binge watch. You guys watch this weekend.
Oh, we did watch it. Yeah.
Oh, you guys get he's great.
He's a I don't know, man. Copland. I rewatched it again maybe like 2 months ago. It's such a good movie. He's such a good actor.
Okay, I don't know about a good actor. He is a decent actor. We'll give you that. He's just a true blue. He's a Cornhusker in the streets, and I love him.
Come on, over the top, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know about a good actor.
Exactly.
It's like my brother yesterday. He goes, I love Keanu. He's so one-dimensional. Oh yeah, but I love him.
He cannot act at all.
He's like
he can act out of a shoebox.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Yeah, like what was it, Bill and Ted or whatever? That's like the perfect.
Bill and Ted.
That's what it was, right?
Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Excellent Adventure.
Excellent Adventure. Oh, that was horrendous too. Yeah, he's horrible.
But like that's the one thing he could do.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just some people. Well, actually, let's just say Sylvester Stallone is just such a likable person that makes me
100%.
Yeah, it makes me think that he's probably a better actor.
Just such a genuine guy. He's a beautiful soul.
Yeah, he is.
He's a beautiful soul.
You know his story, right? Like him selling like the Rocky stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, and to think they could have never been made. Like, nobody wanted to do it.
Well, I'll tell you a story when we first came to this country, because we escaped from a communism country.
Where'd you escape from?
Bulgaria.
Okay.
And we came here, and my father was living in Hollywood. And in the early 1980s, at a Chinese movie theater, we used to go down there on Saturday and Sundays to watch movies. And the Rockies, I saw them through those theaters.
Oh, that's cool.
Rocky 2 and 3 and all of above, they were through that. It was like, and that was my memories of when a youth watching Rocky growing up at my 8, 9, 10 years old, watching Rocky freaking get crazy.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
I've said I have a friend, his name is Rocky.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so his name is Rocky, and he saw the pieces that I have on my legs, and he said, I like the all the portraits that you did. So he's gonna get all 80s actors. So he's already done Van Damme. He's done Rambo. So he's like Van Damme, Rambo, or Van Damme is from Double Impact. I think that was the first movie he saw, Double Impact. And then Rambo, and I think I don't know which other ones he's going to get, but all those guys...
He's got to get like the Terminator, come on.
They're all corny. Most of them are so corny, but...
That's like my favorite Terminator too.
Steven Seagal? Is he going to get Steven Seagal in there too?
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not.
God help us, Steven Seagal on top of that. As long as he gets
Carl
his ex-wife. That's good.
Carl Weathers? Carl Weathers is cool, man. I like Carl Weathers.
I think he should get Starsky and Hutch from the old days.
No, I like... Have you seen the new Starsky and Hutch? With Ben Stiller?
Yeah, that's old, yeah.
It's so funny. It's so dumb. Yeah. Burt Reynolds. I like Burt Reynolds. I think I would get a Burt Reynolds. There's just so many more pieces that I want. That just, to me, they signify my childhood. It was, my mom would go out. She's an entrepreneur, so she would always work, and she'd leave us with my dad. You're
40. What are you talking about? You're still a young guy.
Yeah, but as a child.
Oh, as a child. Look at you talking. You're still in diapers when they were doing all that. I love it.
I was. And so we'd watch movies with my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad,
isn't that amazing memories if you think about it?
He would sit us down.
And you make you change the channel if you didn't want to get up.
Pretty much.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up here.
Oh, okay. In California?
Yeah, I grew up in California.
Where?
Just here in SoCal. Just like Reseda, like in the valley at first.
Okay.
Like Reseda, Southgate, then Fontana and Rancho.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I went to Culver City, the South Bay, and downtown LA, La Cañada. So I've been all over. I've moved around a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in El Salvador. That's where I was born.
Okay.
And so, you know, being here with my pops, and he didn't know how to cook, he didn't know how to do anything. So he would just sit us down, and we'd watch movies with him. Or the weekends, you know, watch movies with dad after, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Playing sports with him. And yeah, Rocky and all the karate movies, Bruce Lee. You know, we watch Bruce Lee movies.
Of course. 1978, 79, watched the Bruce Lees.
Yeah.
When it originally came out. You know what's another one that I love all of them? Is the James Bonds.
Oh, yes, we watch. Which one's yours, James Bond? Who's your James Bond?
Roger Moore.
That's my pops.
I love Roger Moore.
My dad would say, Roger Moore is my James Bond.
Sean Connery was pretty freaking there, too.
Yeah.
Sean Connery, Roger Moore. They were the studs.
Yeah, Roger Moore was for me. I like Sean Connery, but because my dad liked Roger Moore, those are the ones that he's like, Sean Connery. He's like, I like him, but still, like, he grew up on Roger Moore. Clint Eastwood. We'd watch all the Clint Eastwood movies. My dad's a big cowboy fan. He grew up on a ranch. My grandpa grew up on a ranch and a farm. So they liked all Western movies.
What about John Wayne? My stepdad loved John Wayne.
He loved your stepdad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. John Wayne, not too much.
Yeah.
not too much. He was more like the same thing where he would say, not Sean Connery, but Roger Moore, not John Wayne, but Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
It's just good memories. Good memories. And where did you grow up?
Oh, here too, Southern California.
Bulgaria too, or no?
No. Yeah, he brought me with him.
I didn't grow up in Bulgaria. I came here very young, but I grew up in California.
Yeah, basically Phillips Ranch, Diamond Bar area. And then I went all around like you, Marietta, Moreno Valley, out here to Rancho. I live in Upland now, so.
Yeah. When people ask me, like, where'd you grow up? It's like, I grew up in Southern California.
Right.
I mean, I've been in South Central. I've been all over SoCal, like Southern California.
Right.
Pretty familiar with it. I still get lost everywhere I go, but, whatever. Good thing I'm not a realtor.
I do too. Thank goodness for Google Maps or Waze or whatever. Yeah, I could go to a place 10 times, but I'll still turn the map on just to be sure like I'm going the right way.
How did you guys meet?
Through work.
Yeah, but like, how did you end up getting to work for him 10 years ago?
Yeah, it was weird. Actually, I think I saw like a post. I don't know if it was Facebook or what. That the company was hiring. So, and it was actually for a marketing position. So I applied for it, and then so did another gal that actually works there too. So she ended up getting that position. So a few months later, I just randomly called the office back and got another interview. And they ended up hiring me. I was, helping like with the accounting and stuff like that, which is what I do for the construction company. I'm the controller. So
debits and credits.
Yeah, exactly. The exciting stuff.
Oh, exciting.
Right. So, but yeah, that's how I ended up working with them.
And then you found that is it because you mentioned earlier that you were able to actually help families, right? And so is that what made you want to get into the adjusting side, like to help people?
Yeah, most definitely. Like once I found out actually what a public adjuster was, I feel passionate about it, and that's why, I'm out. That's why I'm go to the different meetings, because a lot of people don't know that service exists. And they just think, whatever the insurance company offers them is fair and that's what they should get. So we're here, we're able to help people and, make sure they can actually repair their property.
But is it only on properties, or do you guys do auto too?
We don't do auto. We do yachts, jets, stolen goods, properties, things like that. And anything that has property possession, things like that. We don't do cars. We don't do anything like that.
So like if I lose a painting, then I'd call you guys?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And like if you lost Rocky, definitely call us.
This guy sneaks in and steals it in the middle of the night.
Right.
You're about to lose him, so I know. Call.
No, I did have an auto experience though. That a few years ago I got rear-ended, and the insurance covered everything. They fixed my vehicle. I thought everything was great. I went to get the vehicle appraised because I had a friend that wanted to buy it. And it actually had zero value because they said they could see clamp marks like on the frame, and they could tell that it had been repaired. So I wouldn't even get an offer on the vehicle. Like if I went to a dealership, they're like, no, sorry, we won't touch it. So,
and that was then through the insurance company.
That was through the insurance company. So, their job is to make me feel whole. And I obviously was not whole. I mean, all of a sudden I had no value in my vehicle. I got lucky that, all of a sudden used vehicles are like the thing. And so all of a sudden I did have value in my vehicle and I was able to trade it and get a different one. But just feeling like that, that's not right. They should have, if they knew something like that, they should have totaled the vehicle. Because I was left, pretty much helpless and nothing I could do on that.
Do you know that she took him to court?
I did.
Who? You took the insurance company?
Not the insurance company, the driver that actually, ended up being a 3-car deal, and it was the driver that caused it because there was a car in between us, and I was, the last one to get hit. And I took him to court because, again, my vehicle had no value. I didn't win. So, again, I was just I was at a loss on that one.
Well, she took the insurance company of the other parties.
Well, I mean, it was the other party or their insurance company. I mean,
that's how sad it was.
Yeah.
They repaired her car and they made it devalued X amount of percentages. It was bad.
Yeah.
And when I found out about it, I was so angry. I'm like, why would you do that? Brand new cars. She buys brand new cars, and this is what they do. And at the end, they do all this, and they're like, "Oh no, it's only worth a third now."
You know what I think? Sometimes
so sad.
Yeah.
It's it sucks when we see people get taken advantage of, right? Like in your situation, what you're saying.
Yeah.
And same thing with me. I sued a car company, and they really try to give it to me. And I was a young kid. And thankfully I was able to find the right lawyer, but it cost me so much, well, heartache, but it cost me so much damn money.
Right.
And it took so long. And so now when people tell me like situations about certain vehicles, I'm like, do you know there's a lemon law? And they're like, well, what's a lemon law? And I'm like, and I'll explain it to them.
3 strikes, you're out.
Pretty much. And the thing is, I just took my current car to the dealership. They didn't put something on the work order. It was just a regular maintenance checkup.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's not a problem. You know, we'll take care of it. I'm like, nope, you need to rewrite this order. And I said, well, and I knew that I was being perceived as an asshole. I knew it. Like, they were just like, what do you want this on the order for? And I said, look, I'm sorry, but I've sued a company before, the same company in the same car that I'm driving now. And my work orders were the things that I could take to court. So I need to make sure that you guys put it on there. Well, we can't. I'm like, get me a manager. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't care if I'm perceived as a dick, as long as I'm being, taking care of myself.
Right.
And sometimes, like, with what you guys do, people don't know that this is out there. And so that's why I want to make sure that you guys could obviously have a platform so that people can.
I appreciate you because this is why she's doing a phenomenal job just spreading the gospel, as I say it. 99% of people don't know what a public adjuster is and how they're advocate towards the owners of any loss of their property. There needs to be people out there to share this because, and again, this is nothing against insurance companies. It's what the people need to know their rights are, how they need to, position themselves to be made whole. Nothing against insurance companies. Insurance companies I'm a capitalist. Everybody needs to make money. I completely understand, but let's do it the right way with certain things.
Yeah. And even,
Go ahead.
Even just to educate people on their insurance policy, like read your declaration page, know your coverage, because you could, just end up with a policy where you don't have enough money to, if you do have a disaster and you have to stay somewhere else, you want to make sure you have enough coverage to pay your living expenses, because they should put you in a property that's like to what you're living in, that you can stay while your property's being repaired. And if you don't have enough coverage for that, you can only stay for a certain amount of time.
In California right now, like, where are you guys receiving most of your claims? Or is it only in the state that you guys are?
We could go to other states. We help out clients that are in some states. For example, we had a lady that we helped out in another state, just a consulting, we didn't do it. And she called me about 4 months ago. No, longer than that, I apologize. About 7 months ago, and the insurance company, ABC company, was giving her $80,000. They wanted her to sign a thing quickly. Get her the check, do that. She called us crying. I said, ma'am, just let me see what the policy is. I went out there. We looked at everything. We just settled her out about 60 days ago for $220,000.
From 80 to 220?
Yeah. We had a commercial policy about a year ago. They were giving them $450,000 quickly. They wanted to sell it out, do everything. We got involved. This and that happened. We settled them out for $975,000.
So this isn't just pennies. I mean, this could be double, what the insurance company or triple what the insurance company is offering.
I have one right now that they wrote it up for $45,000. That's including contents, all their furniture, all their belongings, all their repairs, everything else for about $42,000. Our estimate just came in with negotiations for $124,000.
But it sounds like all these people have already called the insurance company.
Mm-hmm. It's okay if they call them. I am very transparent when it comes to our clients to what that is. The problem I have is how they interpreted from the other party, how the transparency goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're honest with me, but how I'm going to interpret it to how your honesty, that's the bullshit part of it that I don't like. That's the only part I tell my clients. If you don't know something, don't think you know. Just tell them, I don't know. Come out here, look at the property, and you tell me how it is. This is your field. That's all I say.
Is it, excuse me. So someone who doesn't know that this exists, right? And they pick up the phone and they call their insurance company and they answer the questions back and forth. But they're getting lowballed, like I was. Like, hey, for me, it was like, hey, no problem. We're going to replace this. That's not what I'm asking for. Hey, no problem. Here's 2,000. Then here's 5,000. Then here's 7. I'm like, that's not even close to my 100,000. So give me my 100, or we're not talking. Till finally, I found an attorney that said, hey, you know what? Like, I think you actually have a case here, and I can get you your money. So even that person that made that attempt, like I did, they could still call you guys if they're getting lowballed and they just feel like something's off. I think something feels like something's off, especially if they're trying to get you to sign something quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 8 out of 10 times they're gonna get you to sign off something quickly. We have another one right now that they wanted to give them $103,000, and they have to send it in, and they want to close out the case, but the case is over $350,000, and the lady's terminally ill. And it's going close to a year, and we can't still get to start the construction because they can't settle out with us. And the lady has terminal ill cancer. The poor thing. Her 2 sons are such sweethearts. We're going through this whole thing right now, and I want to get them back in their home. And they just sent us a letter that says their ALE, additional living expenses, that they want to terminate it by September, when we just got our first payment 2 months ago after 8 months of delegating with them and then not having responses to us.
Do you think sometimes, well, I don't think it's done with malice from insurance companies or the people that work at insurance companies?
It's negligence. It's too many people touching the pot.
Okay, that's what I was trying to...
It's exactly what you're saying. You're absolutely 100%. It's just these corporate Americas right now, they don't know what's going on. They're upside down, and everybody's grasping, trying to figure this out. And now it's, certain companies are going to go to court just to prove that they're willing to spend the money. So you don't want to spend money against them for an attorney. It's sad.
I think it's sad because I don't think, like, to your point, right? I don't think there's anything bad with insurance companies. The people that work there, I mean, I think, and I may be wrong, it's just my way of looking at things. I think people are good. Most people are good.
Absolutely.
Most people are nice.
Yeah, they just have, their adjusters may be inexperienced, which is a benefit with us, having the construction background. When we go to estimate a property, we know what we're looking at. We know what's going to need to be repaired, replaced, etc. So
it's like they're going bare bones.
Exactly.
Well, it's the whole point to that is I tell every adjuster, come out and walk the project with me. If I am wrong and if I misspoke or misput something on paper, please prove it to me. I'll take it off it. I don't want 1 penny more for the client. I don't want to cheat you guys to feel that you're cheated. Absolutely not. Walk every project. This certain client, I cannot get. They went to one adjuster. They switched the adjuster. The second adjuster refuses to come out to a large loss claim. They're going off of pictures.
It's like
I shit you not, man. I wish I could tell you the difference. I could go on, and stories will blow your mind. Your cap will fly off to the ceiling.
Dude, so there's this thing, right? There's what we use in our industry, it's AVM. So it's an automated valuation model that pulls up the value of a property. And I've told my processor, specifically on lines of credit, when someone's getting a line of credit, I have not had one loan where the AVM comes higher than the appraisal. Ever, right? Mm-hmm. Because an AVM, it's a computer model versus an appraiser with 20 years experience that walks out there and makes actual adjustments specific to the property compared to other properties.
Right.
It sounds like it's the same thing, where they're looking at pictures, they're looking at, hey, well, this is the cost for this. It's like, no, it's not.
Right.
Get your butt out there. Isn't that your job? Don't you owe it to the client who's been paying the insurance? That's the part that I think it's messed up, because I don't think that those people are bad, but they're stuck behind red tape, bureaucracy, or guidelines. I don't know what, certain things, but I don't think they're bad people. It just sucks that the person that gets the short end of the stick is the consumer.
Right.
It's the one that's paying.
Exactly. And that's their house, I mean, they live there, and that's their home. Kingdom. Yeah, exactly.
That's all that people have in this life. If you think about it, God forbid your house burns down tonight. That is 90% of your memories, your home, your bed, everything. Your family, to what that is.
I just had a client call me. This was about a couple months ago. He's like, hey, George, can you help me with something? I'm like, what's going on? He said, my house burned down. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, my house burned down. And it turns out I let my insurance lapse.
Oh, well, the home insurance has insurance. The loan has insurance.
I said,
that's a third-party claim.
I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. He's like, I took it off auto pay. He's like, it lapsed a week ago.
No, you have 30-day grace period.
Not according to him.
Maybe we should call him.
You have a 30-day grace period to insure it, but if there's a loss, I don't know if they're going to take it, because they have to have a no loss statement for them to reinstate it. So he might be a little bit in trouble with that.
Yeah, well, see, the person that had the public adjuster that came last time, she talked to him. He's like, he's screwed. There's no way. I mean, I'd be more than happy to, I don't know, to see if there's anything you guys could do, but it's one of the things that, like, for clients on our end, you have to have insurance. Like, I mean, you have to have insurance on your car. You have to have insurance on your house. You don't have, well, let me take it back. You don't have to have insurance if you don't have a loan. Right? If you don't have a loan, that's your problem. But if you have a loan, you have to have insurance. Mm-hmm. And you should have insurance, right? You should have insurance. We have insurance on our phones. Why don't you have insurance on your house?
Right. Even as a renter.
Yeah, renter's insurance. Right. But my brother's stuff has been stolen twice from his car. This was before he was a homeowner. And he just called the insurance company like, yo, dude, they stole my bike. They stole my camera. They stole his laptop. What else? And it's not a regular bike. It's a road bike, like one of those really expensive bikes.
Yeah.
And everything was covered, right? Yeah. In his case, he was made whole.
Right.
But I think that's the whole thing. Like, if you feel like you're not being made whole, or you feel like you're being taken advantage of, especially on that insurance side, because things are so expensive, like as a homeowner or art, like, like I got to attach some value to my art.
Right.
I mean, I know there's value, but it's like the dollar amount.
Appraise it, please, because we get those a lot.
Art?
I gotta bring in European appraisers certain points to just appraise some of the lost arts or something that's damaged, and that gets costly. And it goes strictly to the owner, because certain things, if the company says, no, we're not paying for this, we got to bring specialist appraisers. Please get it appraised, spend the money, get it well documented, get it notaried, and make sure you put it in a safe. Do not play around with that.
With art.
With art.
What about jewelry?
Jewelry, right.
Jewelry, art, guns, all of it. Antique stuff, please don't play around with it, you guys. If you guys are listening to us out there, that's one thing you guys don't want to play around with. Do not play around with any of that. Antique cars in the garage that's sitting, whatever it is, please get it appraised. Spend that money, spend that time, the hassle to getting it done.
Do you guys have people that, I mean, if someone doesn't have someone that can help them get it appraised, do you guys have someone you guys can refer them to?
We will evaluate anybody's declaration page from insurance to anything that they need to get evaluated or appraised. It could go from furniture. I mean, there's desks that are worth $100,000. There's couches that we can't even believe what they're worth, certain people that have them. But yes, to answer your question, absolutely, we could help you out and refer you to the right people to take care of it and do it the right paperwork for you guys to file into a safety deposit box or in a safe somewhere. God forbid, knock on wood, something happens.
Yeah, I have
and special endorsements on your policy. That's where Stephanie and I, and even we have in our staff ex-adjusters that work for insurance companies. And she's sitting in this room as well, videotaping us from the back, that she knows the systems well, very well, actually, that we know what we need to do to make sure that you guys have endorsements on your policies when you sit with us, and we will recommend certain things to put on your policy. It might cost you a little extra a month, but knock on wood, you guys do not ever fear. God forbid something happens.
But you're talking about, and I'm just trying to understand, right? So if I have my insurance and I have an issue and I call you guys are reviewing my policy so that in the future I have those special endorsements. Is that what you're saying?
We will recommend what you need, special endorsements, or your policies not up to par. Or you need to take it to the next level to make sure you're covered and you are healthy in the policy. That is correct.
But we can do that now. We wouldn't want to wait until you actually have a claim or something. We want to make sure that if the time comes that you have a claim, we've reviewed your policy and, you know, your coverage is going to cover your property, all your valuables.
So I guess, and I'm sorry, right? Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So I'm a lender and I have a client. I know when to refer to a realtor. Right? They're fully approved. I'm not going to refer you just a name and number just because this person wants to buy a house. Like, there's no point if you don't qualify. If I can't give you the money and you can't get a loan, why am I going to introduce you to one of my realtors? Right. So what type of person should be reaching out to you guys? Obviously, the person that has the claim that they need to file, but should someone reach out to you to review their policy?
They should, yes. That's a service that we offer.
We will give you a free consultation for that as well. They could email us the declaration page. We will look at it. We'll see the values of it. And we have our own brokers and staff that we could also make sure, hey, you're underinsured. You need to take care of some matters to make it up to where you need to be.
That makes sense.
Right. Because something like we were talking about, just say the additional living expense, you know, for some reason, let's say you only had a policy that covered 10 or 15,000. I mean, how much is rent a month? That's only going to cover you for a couple months. The way, you know, especially right now, things take 6 months, a year, you know, to get your, John was just saying, you know, 8 months and no construction has started. They just, you know, paid a couple months ago. So how long have these people been displaced? So, you know, if you're not covered properly, then that's another issue that you're going to have.
My lawsuit took 3.5 years. So, yeah, mucho money.
Exactly.
So on the fixing of the property, do you guys end up helping them with that, or do you guys refer them to someone?
We are, as a general, we have a contractor's license, but we are not allowed because of conflict of interest. We represent you only as a public adjuster. We can help you if you ever want to consult with us too. If you want to pick a certain contractor, but that's entirely up to the owner. It has nothing to do with us. We are just the only portion of it. We're going to make sure you're made whole with the financial side of it. And from there on, you get to choose who you want to pick. We will not be able to ever build anything back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Even like with like rehab loans that we have. Well, rehab not necessarily like restoration projects, but it's a uninhabitable home or a home that you actually want to do upgrades to. There are loans, government loans that someone can get, and there's a HUD inspector. Obviously, there's an appraiser, there's a general contractor. But I get the question from clients, "Hey, can I do the work myself, or can my uncle do it?" Some loans, yes. Like most of them, you've got to look somewhere else.
Yeah, but have a general contractor, everything in place.
Yeah, you have to have a general contractor.
Because what is the loan and warranty or things like that you guys have?
Yeah, and then there's a HUD inspector too. So, I mean, the government sends someone out. Like, you have to have a license to be able to do certain things. So I'm interested about you in Bulgaria, though.
Oh, shit. Stop asking personal questions already, you son of a gun.
Yeah, well, you know.
You better start asking quickly because time's running out and you're going to start paying me soon.
Yeah, it's $99 an hour.
No, you get paid on the back end.
No retainer fee.
Yeah, no upfront costs.
Ask away.
So, what age did you come here?
My mother and my father and myself, we and my brother, I was born in Bulgaria. My dad was born in Bulgaria. My mom was born in Greece. So I was at 1978 and we finally got a visa because it was communism. And we were able to go to see my grandmother's family in Greece for the first time since my grandmother from World War II went to Bulgaria to protect her mom, my mother. And we were able to go there 1978 after 20 years, 25 years. But in communism, you cannot travel the whole family. You have to leave a family behind as a hostage that you'll come back. And my parents, for several years before that, they tried to escape to come to America for freedom. And 1978, we were able to get a visa to go to Greece. I was 6 years old. And we were able to go to Greece, but at the same time, we got a visa for my brother to go to Yugoslavia and didn't put two together, but he was leaving 15 days later. So we went to Greece. We saw my relatives, very faint memories because I was so young. And from there, we drove to Yugoslavia, and my brother took from Bulgaria to visa to go to Yugoslavia. We were able to pick him up, and we were driving towards the Austria border. And if my parents got caught, they would have been prisoned. They would have been prisoned automatically for 15, 20 years from trying to escape. And we were going towards the border, and all of a sudden it started raining, pouring. And I'm in the back seat, doing whatever I'm doing as a 6, 7-year-old. Don't know my head from my behind. And we get to the first border, and they give me the passports. They give me all the money. They tell me, listen, if something happens, you're going to go to a room. Your grandma will pick you up in a couple of days. Just relax. I'm looking around going, what? What's going on? My brother looks at me and goes,
relax.
Don't worry. It's okay, honey.
How old was your brother?
My brother was 10 years older than I was. So he was about 16, 15 years old. And he goes, don't worry, bro. We got you. I'm like, why am I holding everything? And I've got everything because they won't search a kid, supposedly. So there's two borders. So the first border we go up to is Yugoslavian border. They just wave us through. The second border is the Austria border. So, and I'm not sure if that's the right, but anyway, we get to it, and all of a sudden there's a big line, and it's just pouring. And I'm like, serious, and everybody in the car is quiet, dark, 5, 6 o'clock at night. And I'm going, what the hell is going on? And all of a sudden, he lifts the thing, and 4 cars in front of us, and he just goes like this. He's not checking anything. And we were able to escape into Austria, Vienna. And we get into Vienna, And it suddenly, once we passed, my dad and my mom start crying. And I'm like, why are people crying in this car? What is going on? And they look at me like, we are not going back. We just escaped from Bulgaria. And my brother opens up a cigarette for the first time in front of my parents. He's like, I'm free. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. And that was the moment that I start crying because my grandmother, I'm like, what about my grandmother? My family's there. Like, don't worry. Everybody's crying in the car, and we're heading towards Vienna. We get to Vienna, nighttime. We don't speak a word of Austrian, German, anything.
Viennese?
Oh, yeah. we don't know anything.
No, they speak that.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, my brother comes in and is like, let's break a window and then the cops will come and we'll all raise our hands. Well, we didn't do that because in Europe, after a certain tower, as you know, if you've been in Europe, the streets are just quiet. It's like ghost town. And all of a sudden, we see a cop in a corner and all of us go there. I shit you not. Like it was like yesterday. I could see this. We're all raising our hands. They're like, what the hell are you doing? So they take us to the station. They sit us in a room and they call the phone and a Bulgarian translator comes on. That's a communism. He goes, you sure you want to do this?
The translator says?
Yeah, the translator goes, you sure you guys want to do this? My dad goes, just do what I'm telling you and translate the way I'm going to translate it. And so he translated. So they put us in a hotel that they told us don't leave because at that point, KGB and other cops went into the other countries to execute people.
Oh, wow.
If you are escaping from the country, they're going to go out there. So they do not leave the room. You stay there for 3 days until we come get you. This is the code that you're only going to be allowed to open the door. 3-4 days we're in there. They come and pick us up. It was a Tuesday morning, I believe, or something like that. And there was like 17 cars. At that time, Hungary, Poland, all over those Eastern Bloc, the communism were escaping. And they took us to a town called Dreiskirchen in Austria, where the refugee camp was. And we checked in. That was the old Nazi where they were all their soldiers were kept. Hitler's soldiers were kept. And that was a big camp with the big gates and everything, like a big prison. And we were refugees in that camp for close to a year. And at that point, America, Canada, and Australia were only giving to be able to, to escape. And we picked America. Canada was second. Australia was the third if we didn't have a choice. But you had to have a sponsorship. So we were fortunate enough to have some Christian Bulgarian sponsorship in California that took us as a family and sponsored us. And a year later, they gave us tickets and we were able to leave Austria to come to America, California in 1980. And we came here without the pot to pee in or a window to throw it out. And we started our life here, this beautiful country. And this is how we started our life. None of my parents, none of us knew speak English or nothing. 1980 May.
Wow. That's a movie.
I could tell you stories how we left the last night as crazy stories. I could tell you what we went through. How many times my parents tried to escape, and I take very serious this country to everything's going through, and my mom still cries every week about things that are happening.
In Bulgaria?
No, here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that, but it's just, it's a place that's very tough, and we've lived here for 43, 44 years of our lives, and this is the most beautiful country in the world, I still believe.
I think, for us, I consider myself American. I wasn't born here, none of us were, but this is my home.
Yeah.
And I tell people, it's like, I remember, because I was old enough, I remember tanks on the streets. I remember the shootouts, let alone the stories my parents, like being a kid, nosy kid, hearing, like, yeah, like there was dead bodies, on the road. It was a 12-year civil war. And so there's just, it's funny, I'm wearing my flag today. Like,
right on.
There you go.
Represent.
It was meant to be.
No, but I've said so many times, it's like, I want, again, Rocky, meaning, right? The American flag to me, or the star, the Star Spangled Banner, it just has so much meaning to me because I know where we came from. I know what we left. So hearing like your story, like you guys are actually escaping, it's what some of my family members had to do. We didn't know we were coming here. My mom was like, I'm taking you to Disneyland. I'm like, well, where's Dad? Like, we hadn't seen our dad for months. And it's different. I think it's like a different level of appreciation that I have.
How old were you when?
I was 5.
Okay.
I was 5. My brother was 3. My other brother was like 1.
Yeah.
God
bless them. Your parents were heroes.
My recently, maybe about a month ago, my mom says, she goes, I didn't realize what I was doing. She goes, but I don't know the language. Like, we left our jobs.
What year was this?
89.
Okay.
I want to say 89, 90.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm this mom that I left, and the night before, I remember being at the neighbor's house and running from the neighbor's house to our house with my mom holding both my brothers and me running behind her while there's tanks on the street. And, it's just, she goes, we left everything. We've just left everything to come here. And my dad's an educated guy. Like, he went to university. He worked at a bank. It's like, I came to offload trucks, work at a warehouse. Like, the struggle of, like, dude, would I go to another country? I don't even know the language. I don't know nobody there. And I'm just going to like, let's go.
I have a problem just moving to another state.
Exactly.
Another city. Seriously. So, yeah, you got to tell me more stories. I love hearing stories.
Oh, one of these days. Well, you're going to buy me a martini. That's the only way I'm talking from now on.
I got you. My brothers and I, was one of the things we say. We love stories. My grandfather, my uncle, my dad, as kids, there was no bedtime stories like, I'm going to read you a book. It's like I would ask them stories about their past, or they would just tell me stories of college, or just different things like the farm. I love stories. So you have to tell me something.
I'm about the same thing. I love success stories.
Yeah, that too.
I love people. I love it all. I just love to hear what people gone through, because you and I've been through it together.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it.
Mm-hmm. So, was it like that in Diamond Bar?
Totally.
She was rough on the streets.
So also Southern California. My parents grew up in Montebello.
Uh-huh. But like, what's your ethnic background?
So I'm half Mexican, on my mom's side.
Okay.
So, but actually, both my grandparents were born here. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the time that my mom and my uncle grew up, my grandparents didn't want them to have an accent, so they didn't teach them Spanish. So I never learned Spanish. I mean, I took it, a million times in school, but I still don't know it. So.
I wish I knew Spanish.
So do I. I'm gonna have to pick up Babel,
Be awesome.
Yeah, I had some friends. Well, a lot of friends tell me that you can speak Spanish, and the stigma behind not being able to speak Spanish, which sucks because
that's part of you, part of your heritage. But I think ultimately my grandparents liked it because then they could talk amongst themselves without the kids knowing what they were talking about, right?
Yeah. My parents use this, my mom and my grandma used to use this weird way of speaking. It's, I don't know, it's not, it's babble, but it's just like, they substitute like a CH, the beginning of the word and the end of a word, or a P. Like, it sounds so weird. It sounds like cha-cha-da, like, but it's just, all you're doing is just, changing the beginning and the end. So sometimes you could pick up on it. And I could hear my grandma, and when they knew that I picked up on the P's, they were substituting the P's for the beginning. Then they started using the CH, and then there's another one, and I'm like, damn it, you guys are making it too complicated. I gotta learn how to do that.
Right.
Yeah. It's like que in Spanish is like quepes. So it's like when they would use the P, it's like quepes.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so people can find you guys online or work. How could people reach out to you guys?
Stephanie, give them everything.
I know. Well, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We have our website, actionpadjusters.com. What
Give
else?
them the 800 number.
Oh boy, you put me on the spot here. I gotta look. It is 888. I don't have my glasses on.
That's our
normally I know
age,
this.
like a bottle of wine.
888-927-0088.
Action Public Adjusters.
Action Public Adjusters. I think it's valuable what you guys are doing. I'm not blowing smoke, or trying to kiss ass to tell you guys that. I think it's important because you got to know what your rights are, right? You got to know. You work so hard for so many things, or your grandparents or your parents work so hard to pass down something to you, whether it's a painting or you worked your ass off and you bought yourself a yacht. That an insurance company protects themselves, you need to protect yourself too.
Right.
And so I value people that value others, and what you guys are doing is helping people become whole. That's really important, how the way that you said it, and obviously the reason that you're doing it.
Right.
Because it's the right thing. I think it's the right thing. If you're paying for something and you want to be protected, then they should definitely give you guys a call. And if they also want their policies reviewed, you guys can do that too.
Correct. Right.
Cool. Any parting words, messages, words of encouragement, anything that people should know that I may not have asked?
I think we covered everything pretty well.
The main thing is don't panic when the emergency happens. Call. Get some help. You got people on your team. You got people on your side. If the house is burning or the furniture is floating through the front door, you could definitely get help, and it's not the end of the world. The most important thing is your health. Everything else will be taken care of.
My friend?
He said it perfectly. So I think we'll end on that one.
Cool. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for your,
absolutely.
For your hospitality.
Thank
I want to know more stories.
Take it easy. You can't ask any more personal stories. The camera's going to be up now.
There it is.
Thank you, pal.
No, thank you guys.
Can I take one photo?
Absolutely.
Just
a
one
lot of
now.
photos.
Yeah, I'm going to take photos of you.
Yeah.
Do a photo for us.
Oops. Are we good?
1, 2, 3. Do this way too.
Make sure I look skinny.
You do. That's why I'm doing it this way. But you're skinny stuff. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, and
Thank you so much.
no, thank you
I
guys.
appreciate that.
That
I really
was
appreciate it.
It was so comfortable. I didn't even.
I didn't know why you didn't even give me a cocktail for heaven's sake. What the fuck, George?
Didn't I offer you coffee?
No, you freaking coffee.
No. You know what's funny?